Okay, the problem was for one we were storing it in the list, for two we were storing it in the list, but for further terms we were not storing those terms in the list. Now we have appended those the list with those terms. Now it will work. Let us see. I'm not going to write 30 or 40 this time. Let's see it with 35 only. So the first method, you can see it is taking a lot of time for the 30th onwards, and for the remaining, it hasn't taken any time at all. In the second case, I mean, in the second case, it was so quick that you could not even notice. Have a look at once again. Let me just change the sequence. Let's call the first function first and second function later on. I mean, second function first and the first function later on. So what I am here, you can see it has generated first 35 terms using the second method very quickly, and then it is struggling with the first method. So in first method here, recursion is very deep, but here in second case, once we have found a solution, we are storing it in the list, and then for computing the next term, we are using the previous two terms stored in the list. So it is not taking much time. Is it clear? Is this thing clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is called dynamic programming. Means
Yes, sir.
once you have found the solution, store that solution, store that result instead of computing it again and again. I think it's a big, very big hint for you that how can you use this for generating a prime number, right? So you need to store previous prime numbers in the list and then use that list for dividing a number by the prime numbers. And it is a very, very effective method. So again, I want this assignment on Wednesday. Note it down. I'm storing it. Fifth comparison. Okay. Now, continuing with the functions, last topic for today, and it's very important and very interesting also. Uh, when you define a function, what do you write? You write def, some function name, some parameters, and then a few statements within the function. In Python, there is a concept called anonymous functions. Anonymous functions means, have a look here. Here we have written def, name of the function. It means you are giving a name to the function. But then there are anonymous functions also means functions without names. We call them lambda. We call them lambdas. Okay. It is a function which will not have any name. Let us take up an example of this. If I am to find square of a number, what I will do, I will return x n into n. Okay. So its corresponding lambda will be lambda x into x. There will not be any return statement. Few points you need to remember. First, lambda functions means they are anonymous functions, right? Lambdas are anonymous functions. You can pass parameters to those, no problem, but they will not return any value, and they will consist of an expression only, a single expression, nothing more than that. Okay, so how to use these then? I'm writing here some value 1, value 1 is equal to sq5. I'm calling the function normal function here, or I can straight away print it. For example, here, print square of 5. And how to use lambda function? I need to assign it to a function. Let it be f is equal to here, pick it up, store it here, and then print f. It means, I Here I am passing 10 as parameter. See what will happen. कहाँ गड़बड़ हुई? इसमें कुछ गड़बड़ तो नहीं हुई है. Oh, sorry. I had to write here n. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, for first print, we are calling the function sq, which is returning square of a number. For second print, we are using the lambda function. Now you'll say that if lambda is anonymous function, then why we are giving it to a variable f? Actually, lambda functions can be directly used as well. There are several cases where we can use these lambda functions. Let me take up those examples one by one. For example, if you want to find sum of value, let us check whether we can. Okay, suppose you want to find out sum of two values. I am passing two parameters to it now, x and y. And here we'll write x plus y, and then I'll pass two parameters to it. And let's run it. So it's been able to find sum of those two numbers, those two parameters. But be very careful about few things, that lambda functions are not named. Second, they do not return any value. Third, they consist of an expression only, not more than that. Is this thing clear? Is this thing
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Okay. Now there are few functions. Just a minute. There are a few functions with which lambda functions are used, and they make the things very easy, very, very easy. Suppose we have a list. Let me now discuss the different functions. Suppose we have a let me create a list. I can create it randomly. So let me import that. Import random as rn. So we'll create the list as rn dot random range. Just a minute. Rn dot random range. We'll pass parameters. We want it from 10 to 100, and in steps 3. Okay. For I in range some value n, let it be. And we can take from user. Input, enter a number. Okay. So what we'll get, let us see. Print list. First of all, say we want to generate a list of 10 numbers. You can see there's a list of 10 numbers randomly generated. Okay. Now let us see how this lambda function can be used on this list. First is we can filter this list. Suppose a list of numbers is there, and I want to find out numbers with which are divisible by 2. Means I want to find out even numbers only. What I'll do, print the list created using a filter function. Okay, I'll write the lambda here. Lambda x, where x modulus 2 is equal to 0, and from where? From the list that we have created. Okay, let me run it once, then I'll explain it to you. 10 numbers. So we have a list generated randomly here. Out of this list, this filter function will filter out all the values which do not satisfy this condition. means it will filter out the values and it will give us the elements which are given. Okay, let me repeat. There are three things which are involved. First is the lambda, to which we are passing one parameter, and then we are checking whether that parameter is even or not by finding its modulus with 2. Right? After that, we are applying a filter. Filter means we are putting a condition on it. We are putting a condition on the second parameter, that is a list, that from this list filter those elements which satisfy this lambda condition. Right? So it becomes very convenient to write. So whatever is filtered out, it is converted to list. So that's why we have written list, filter, and then rest of the things. Right? Then if you want to apply an operation on all the elements of the list, then there is a map function. Map lambda x x into say 10. So every element of the list will be multiplied by 10. Let's check it. Once again, 10 numbers. So first result is because of filter. Second result is because of this map function where we have multiplied every element of the list with 10. Is this thing clear? हाँ जी बेटा क्लियर है या नहीं? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then we have another function which is reduce. For this, we'll have to create a, or we can use it as such, no problem. For reduce function, we'll have to import another library, that is function tools as FT, right? The reduce function is basically available in function tools library. Reduce lambda x and y will pass two parameters x plus y on the list. So what it will do, it will iterate through the whole list, taking two parameters at a time, and it will go on adding those two parameters. Basically, what we are doing, we are finding sum of all elements of the list here. Let me reduce the range here. Let me reduce it to 10 only, right? And we'll generate just 5 numbers so that you are able to understand what does it mean. Oh, sorry, I had to write function tools dot reduce. So here we go. Int is not iterable. Why? Oh, sorry. Now, since it will return only one, it will reduce the list to one single element. So it will not be a list. Here you can see what we have done here. We have found the sum of these numbers in the list. So no iteration is required, no for loop, no while loop, nothing is required. Through this, you can do it. Is this thing clear, Bache? Yes. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can we find out the factorial of a number using this method? Is it possible to find factorial of a number? Let me show you. So we will create a new list. List range 1 to n plus 1. And then let's apply this lambda function on this list 1. And here I am writing multiply. Let's see what happens. I am entering number 5. 5 का कितना आता है? Factorial Yes, 5 का factorial
120
120 है,
sir.
बन रहा है?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
What we have done here, let me write the list also. L1 list क्या बन जाएगी? Because of this function range, we have created a list from 1 to 5, and you want to find factorial of 120. So you simply write this function, and it will reduce the list by multiplying every element with every other element, and it will reduce it to one result. So you can see it here. 20 ka factorial, so very large number. It's working. Is it clear? Hmm?
Yes sir.
Okay, fine. That's all for today. Tomorrow probably we'll start with lists and tuples. Okay.
Okay sir.
Okay, fine. Tomorrow we'll start with lists and tuples. Binary उसका prime numbers वाला dynamic program आपने बनाना है. By Wednesday you have to submit me that. That's all for today.